A super Sunday awaited for the 2024 Australian Open. A day earlier than the tournament's regular start, with a star-studded lineup to entertain the sellout crowd. Yannick Sinner's famous Carotto boys following their hero down under, with the Italian fourth seed facing a tricky opening tie against former US Open quarter-finalist Botic van der Zandschulp. An early break to the good, Sinner was up and running. The 22-year-old's precise shot-making had him well in control.
Tough to defend shot making like that. Those guys are right behind that man there.
Sinner was soon 2 sets ahead, but with his formidable forehand misfiring early in set 3, the Flying Dutchman across the net was certainly playing his part.
Oh, stop it!
How did he win that point? Wow.
It would not be enough, though, to prevent a Sinner straight sets win.
Yannick Sinner safely navigates his way into the second round.
Second up on Rod Laver Arena in what were perfect conditions was a second Aussie Open meeting between world number 8 Maria Sakkari and Japan's Nao Hibino. The Greek star took some time to settle the nerves, but a one-sided second set saw her progress 6-4, 6-1.
Sakkari safely through to the second round.
Earlier on Margaret Court Arena, a potential upset was in the offing when Japanese world number 122 Mai Hontama took the opening set against former French Open champion Barbora Krejcikova.
Oh, clever from the racket of Hontama. Another drop shot.
There would be 7 breaks of serve in a turbulent second set, but Krejcikova would eventually do enough to force a decider.
Doesn't get it wrong that time. That's a beautiful drive volley, and that conjures up a second set point.
Hontama's Aussie Open main draw debut had certainly been eye-catching. Krejcikova forced to recover another break early in the third. It had been a tricky round 1 contest for the former world number 2, but the Czech star would prevail.
Well, what a battle that has been for Barbora Krejcikova. What a contest. Krejcikova through to round 2 at the Australian Open.
There would be a straightforward straight sets win for former US Open runner-up Leylah Fernandez. The Canadian too strong for Czech qualifier Sara Bejlek 7-6, 6-2, the final score on Cain Arena. This crowd that is renowned for its raucous atmosphere, especially when home heroes are involved, was then treated to a 5-set epic between Argentine number 1 Francisco Cerundolo and Aussie qualifier Dane Sweeney. The world number 257 forcing a deciding 5th set before the 22nd seed eventually triumphed in 3 hours and 23 minutes.
Francisco finally finds his form in the 5th. It's Cerundolo in 5 over Sweeney.
Kicking off on a Sunday for the first time in history, Melbourne Park was buzzing on the first night of the Australian Open. A full house at Rod Laver Arena welcomed 4-time Australian Open champion Andre Agassi and 2022 Australian Open champion Ash Barty onto court for a special appearance with the trophies, before defending champion Novak Djokovic started his chase for major title number 25. The number 1 seed looking in full control against Croatian qualifier Dino Prismic in the opening set.
Is he the most accurate player you've ever seen? He has to be.
I mean, it feels like it, doesn't it?
Despite the 18-year-old taking medical time out early on, he soldiered on in the second, going toe-to-toe with Djokovic.
He has fired up Melbourne.
Last year's French Open junior champion refusing to take a backward step against the 10-time champion. He had the crowd in shock after taking down Djokovic in a second set tiebreaker.
Amazing end to the second set.
The world number 1 did not back down in the third.
Novak unloads on a forehand.
And after 4 hours, Djokovic found a way to dispatch his younger opponent, taking the fourth set.
It's 29 consecutive wins for Novak at the Australian Open.
Reigning women's champion Aryna Sabalenka began her title defence on Rod Laver Arena against German qualifier Alyna Sabalenka. The second seed repeatedly overpowered Sabalenka with her ground strokes and her power forehand. Sabalenka taking the first set 6-love.
That's impressive.
That same dominant mindset continued in the second. Sabalenka just had no answers for her power and placement.
Oh, bless her.
She'd be feeling uncomfortable.
Sabalenka couldn't put a foot wrong, taking the match in just 53 minutes.
Game 7, Sabalenka.
Andrei Rublev has already claimed a title in Hong Kong earlier in the month and would open his account against Brazil's Thiago Seyboth-Vilger. The Australian Open first-timer was clearly impressed by the occasion, racing to a 3-love lead in the opening set.
And a very good start from the 23-year-old Brazilian.
It wasn't long, though, before the fourth seed's thumping forehand was beginning to find its mark.
There's a 1-2 combination and has paid a lot of bills.
Rublev raced to a 2-set lead, but then came a remarkable comeback from the world number 78.
And he continues to build momentum.
It was an emotional rollercoaster from the number 5 seed in the fifth, but he powered home to win in a tiebreaker and progress to the second round.
What a win for Andrei Rublev.
On Margaret Court Arena, Caroline Wozniacki made a winning start to her Australian Open return. The 2018 Australian Open champion advanced from the first round after her Polish opponent, 20th seed Magda Linette, was forced to retire in the second set due to injury.
Ladies and gentlemen,
American Francis Tiafoe took an early lead in his match against Croatia's Borna Coric.
saw it coming. Little cat and mouse there from the boys.
But the Croatian would keep battling in the third.
He's got it this time. Backhand line.
But the world number 17 was at his entertaining best, taking the match in the fourth set.
Oh. First of that shot we've seen in a while, and it works for the American.
And on Cain Arena, American Taylor Fritz also secured a place in the second round, coming from 2-1 down to beat Argentinian Facundo Diaz Acosta. The 5 sets thriller lasting 4 hours.